Computer. Lights.
Good morning, everybody, and happy Wednesday. We've got lots of things going on. At some point here, Colton's going to message and come in here and hang with me a little, but he's, slow and stuff. And I wonder if I can make more fun of him. I can figure out ways to, I think it's entertainment. Anyway, pestering Colton is a long-standing pastime of mine, because he's a beloved friend, and that's the way this goes. So anyway, we're going to work today on chairs. And Paint Studio, Clip Studio has decided to be somewhere else again. There we go. Oh, even better. It's closed everything. So, okay. Just bringing up everything again. Alrighty. So here's what we're doing today. Checking to see if there's music. There's music. There's music. It's there. While we wait for Colton, let's start a design document here. I'm going to do a new design document. We're going to discuss the chair situation. We have a chair situation. These are permanent fixtures in the ship. So we want them to be universal, right? We have 5 races that visit or that live in my world, right? We've got the artificial intelligence, we've got the humans, we've got good morning, Patsy. Ooh, Patsy, I was having an interesting discussion about the hero's journey. So when Colton shows up, we can talk about that. I wouldn't mind hearing your kind of opinions on it. So because you are a writer, and writers talk about things like Joseph Campbell's hero's journey, because we're goofy and weird and broken people. Anyway, so we've got 5 races that are in my world. We've got the artificial intelligences, we've got the humans, we've got the oh, come on, I just lost it. The Jacine, which are kind of like jellyfish with armored plates, armored jellyfish. And then we've got the Chakrana, which are the 3-legged guys. And then we've got the guys that are like 6 foot tall amoebas, right? So we know that when we deal with stuff like this, we're going to have to deal with a race that's effectively a ball with tentacles, but they don't live in our world because they live at high pressure. So we don't have to worry about them necessarily, because they're all going to be holograms. We also have the guys that are 3-legged, right? So they've got 3 legs with hands. Hi. Hi. Right? And they stand on their 3rd foot like that. Then we have the amoeba guys, which can form into anything they want. So they tend to be like human beings, except they like the hammerheads look. That's very fashionable these days. Okay, you can be back. We don't have Colton yet anyway. We have humans, obviously. right? So, and then we have the AIs, which also just decide to be humans. So, of these races, there's Colton. Howdy, Colton.
How's it going? Oh,
Going well. We're
okay.
discussing chairs. This is going to be a chair day for me.
We're discussing chairs.
Yeah, I have to design the couches for my ships, and I have to make it work to my 5 races.
Okay.
I have 5 races in my story, and I happen to be lucky. 2 of the races can be any shape they want,
Mm-hmm.
and they will decide to be human shaped because no reason except that we'll come up with a lampshade for it.
Right. Okay.
The truth is that um they're human shaped because it's really hard to write stories about aliens and have people empathize with aliens. So not impossible, but we need sort of an input in there. Patsy says hi.
Hi, Patsy.
So I was before I was just talking to Patsy about this. Somebody had just posted in Reddit on r/writing
Mm-hmm.
about the hero's journey. Are you familiar with the hero's journey?
Uh, I know it, and right now my brain's not functioning
It's all right.
properly, so
Joseph
I know
Kahn.
exactly what you're talking about,
Joseph,
though.
yeah, yeah. So I will actually, I can bring up a thing that talks about the hero's journey. So I will. Give me just a second here. For those of you at home, because I have it in my reference folders, creating stories. So I'll bring it up here. So we've got the hero's journey was invented by Joseph Campbell.
Yeah, that's his name. Okay. Yep.
Um,
Gesundheit.
So thank you. It's going to be like this for the next week or so. I had a head cold last week,
Uh-huh.
and with me, the way the head colds go is they go straight to my lungs and fill my
Nice.
lungs with phlegm, and then I have this cough for weeks. The problem is I had whooping cough when I was 5, and so my lung or my throat is like messed up, not messed up, but so anytime I cough anything at all, it sounds like I'm coming unglued and I'm about to die of like something horrible.
Right. That's fair.
Okay, so this is the hero's journey.
Didn't you send me this file before?
I
This looks
use it.
really familiar, but yeah,
Yeah,
no, continue.
probably.
Sorry.
But the idea is in Act 1, you have the introduction to the normal world, whatever your normal world is. Then you have a call to action. Then you cross the threshold, yada, yada, yada. And then once you're in the threshold, you're in Act 2, where a mentor teaches the lead, and then you have your first challenge. Then you have your temptation. Then there's a dark moment, a final conflict, and then now we're in third act, and then you return home, right? So you do that. You talk to the doctor. It's totally cool. So somebody had posted that the problem is that novice writers are using this as a template as opposed to using it as a diagnostic tool.
Yeah.
Right? You should be checking to see if your story has these structures in it, not starting out with a blank page and going, okay, introduction to the protagonist's world. Protagonist was standing in his world doing blah, 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 and going on like that. Call to action. Protagonist is then called on the phone by Bob to say, go to action,
Yeah.
And so it's an interesting thought process because I was like, I never really thought of that. As someone who does like to structure stories, I like to outline excessively. And then I only write by scene. Good morning, Brent.
Hey, Brent.
It's all good, Brent. We're talking about the hero's journey. I write by scene. So in other words, I will say, okay, I have 24 pages to fill. The first X number of pages are going to be Act 1. The second X number of pages are going to be Act 2. And the last next number of pages are going to be Act 3. Since this story is kind of Act 3 heavy, I'm going to give more pages from Act 1 and 2 to Act 3 so that Act 1 is shorter and Act 2 is shorter, but Act 3 is bigger or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, then I do this negotiation and trade pages back and forth. And then I break them down into scenes. And I know that I want about 7 scenes in a comic. So I have like really super intense scenes that are 5 pages. And then I have like really short scenes that are like a page. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But once I've broken all of that down, I have sort of a layout of what I'm doing with my story. And then I say, oh, okay, now that I've done that, scene 1, Chang and Bennett are talking to each other. Scene 2, Bennett and Mayrell are talking to each other. Scene 3, you know what I mean? Like I kind of lay out what they are. And then once I do all of that structure for me, it's easier for me. This is just, everybody has a different way of doing it. This is the only way that works really well for me. So, well, that was what the person on r/writing was saying, was this person's an established writer, has had many books published, and so they're not talking out of their butt. They're talking, with some like background. But I was thinking about it and I was like, because I know that, well, what most people say is that usually you want to use like the hero's journey to make sure that you don't have the doldrums in the story, right? The middle of the story where you get stuck in, a scene where Bob is talking to Tim for 20 pages about a wrench, and you don't realize until later that has to have been like one of the most boring scenes ever, but you've already penned it. So, yeah, I don't know, Brent. I mean, technically it snowed here last night. Technically. Right? Colton is now going to check his technical too.
It's very sunny and bright outside.
Right. Exactly.
I was like, wait, it didn't snow.
I saw about this much snow and about this long and about that wide on top of my barbecue pit.
Okay, that's why I was like,
because
you said that, I was like, it didn't snow. What the hell are you talking about? It's bright as day outside. I don't see shit.
Yeah, right now it's currently -2 outside Celsius.
Oh,
So that's
I
like
was
30
like,
degrees.
in Alaska?
Yeah, no, it's 30 degrees. I speak always in Celsius.
I know. Well, yeah, you lived in Japan for years.
Yeah, and realize that
Everyone else
speaks
Celsius.
Celsius.
I said everybody else in the world is Celsius.
Yep. Oh,
America just wants to be different. It's one reason why we're on the metric system and the Fahrenheit.
Wow. I got a present for my wife. Look at this.
Ooh. What is it?
A whole ton of Altoids cans.
Oh. Are they empty?
Yep.
Yep.
They are like my favorite thing to store stuff in. Because
they
I have a ton of little teeny things. Well, yeah, but Patsy, you're in Arizona.
Okay, right now time of year, Arizona's fine.
Yep. Yeah,
It's
I was going to say, in the 60s,
I do not like
pretty
Arizona.
nice.
I don't like Arizona when it's summer.
Yeah, Arizona's an issue, and other times of the year when it starts creeping up into the 120s and 125s and 130s, and you're like, what?
My temperature is saying it's 29 in Colorado right now.
Yep. Well, that's what about -2 is about 29.
Yeah.
So yeah, I haven't seen Ghost Hand yet.
Win? Is this like golf? The lower score wins.
Right. I haven't seen Ghost Hand. Ghost Hand's usually the only one who pops in regularly and but I'm wondering what the temperature is in Brazil.
Well, let me tell you.
Well, I was going to have him tell because that's fun.
Right.
130 is an exaggeration, but yeah. I don't know, man. The only time that I was in Phoenix, I keep telling this story every time. I'm like, I was in Phoenix one time as a layover. The plane had stopped in Phoenix.
Why is everything opening up?
And was just waiting there on the tarmac.
Mm-hmm.
And they had to move the plane a little because it was melting the tires.
Oh God.
I was like, what? I was like, that's not right. I was like, well, that's kind of cool. Okay, back to chairs.
Back to chairs.
So I guess really the only thing we have is two body types that we have to deal with. We have a humanoid body type,
Oh.
and then we have the chakrana body type. I think that's really pretty much it because the Jessine are going to be coming in via hologram. I think.
So are you like at a council meeting?
Well, no, I'm just talking about the chairs on the bridge.
Oh, so in the bridge they have their oh.
Right, because you've got 5 different races and you've got to be able to have everybody be able to swap out seats at any time, right?
That's fair.
So I think what we'd want is a chair which has a seat and then maybe a hinge and a back piece like this that folds down so that it's like this and has another pad right here. And that way the chakrana can sort of sit on the pad like so with a foot down here and then be able to operate controls like that. That's what I think I'm going to do. Yeah, that's probably the best bet. Yeah, okay, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to do that. So it's going to be hinged here. So let's go ahead and think this one out.
I mean, if your creatures have reverse knees.
Yeah, we need cup holders. That's important. All right.
All right. What do I need to do very quick? I need this.
You're like, what are you doing? I'm doing chairs. Leave me alone. Hey,
No,
like, okay,
I was
that's
like,
weird.
should I rebuild the engine or just take this starter engine I built right here and just keep building off it?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
We're gonna extract selection.
So, yeah, I was gonna say you can make fun of me, but you have a motorcycle you're working on,
I know.
so you can't make fun of me too much. I'm just saying. Chairs are better than star maps. He really has a problem with me doing star maps. So next we're going to do star maps. Okay, so let's talk about chairs.
I'll go back into the bike.
Let's see here. We're going to probably do something like so. With a little bit of like a slope to it.
Import
And then a hinge right here.
engine. There you are.
And then this is not the complicated piece. Because the complicated piece is going to be this piece, which will be down to the hinge. And then more like so. Maybe. And then maybe something like so. I think maybe this needs to come up a little too, more like this. Because I think this
Flop.
area is probably...
Hey, Donald.
Good morning, Donald. 4 legs, 2 prehensile tails, and a fetish for various cheeses. It'll look like tentacles.
I want cheese. Where'd my reference go? There it is. All right, let's see here. That's the lift. That's that. That's that. There you are. That's what I was looking for.
Right? Cheese is good. I tell you, cheese is good. Critters that want cheese, I can totally like empathize with these critters. How complicated do I want these chairs? I guess not very complicated down here. So just bolted effectively to the deck. What's up, dude? George is patrolling. I opened the door, and so he's all about the what's going on outside things. Maybe I'll put like this is kind of like a tummy pad here for our dear Shakrana. You know, Donald's got like a thing going for him here. I see this. These critters are dancing to Chubby Checker and eating Packers hats. So at Geek Tank, we did a randomly generated story, and it was freaking hilarious. We had like the main character is this Captain Brock Winkle something or another. It was just really freaking funny because we just randomly generated all kinds of stuff, and
Right.
you know, turns out he was like driving a space hearse service. So
Space hearse service.
yeah, like, you know, transporting dead people.
Yeah.
And the plot of the story was that he was transporting a corpse and the dude who was going with the corpse, and then there was a transporter accident, and they merged together to form a zombie. And then the zombie virus spread on this planet.
Okay, so actually, speaking of zombies,
I mean,
I was just watching this, like literally. So I watched this show or movie a few nights ago on Netflix. It's called like Army of Thieves.
Okay.
And the whole basis of the story is about crack safing.
Okay.
But the backstory of the world, which I think is funny that it came out around this time because I know exactly what they were going after. So it's based in Europe. It's Europe. It's Germany, France, Czech Republic, and another place I can't remember off the top of my head right now. But there's 4 locations in Europe. Well, the backstory is that everybody, so like they're just a band of thieves doing their thing, and the backstory is America has released the zombie virus. And no one goes to America right now because of zombies. I'm like,
because of zombies.
Way too close to home right now.
Right.
They just said that. I'm like sitting here watching this movie. I'm like, oh, this is cool. This is entertaining. I'm like, the beginning of it, I'm like, okay, I get where they're going with this. And then the news pops on. It's like, zombie outbreak in America. I'm like, I wonder if this is actually going to play into the plot. It does not, but it's hilarious that it's literally in the background just the whole time. Like
the whole time,
are going to get you. America's coming for you.
That's awesome.
I was laughing. It was great.
Sort of disturbing, but very awesome.
Yeah, it was disturbing but hilarious at the same time. I just couldn't. Oh, it was great.
That's cool.
But yeah, I don't know. The movie was actually not bad. It was pretty good. I enjoyed it. That's a brainstorm idea or a feast.
A real dead-end job.
Oh, Patsy, you watched it? Yeah. I'm not the only one.
Right?
It's
well, I
think
mean,
there would be no.
It makes kind of sense. Geeks are geeks, and we all kind of do the same.
And Ghost Hand's here. Wow, guy, we have got everybody today.
We got everybody here.
Army of Thieves. I think that's what it's called.
Army of Thieves, yeah. Ghost Hand, you're right. It's depressing to think there would be a non-zero number of people who'd be zombie apocalypse deniers.
Oh, it is a sequel prequel? That makes no sense why Army of the Dead was trying to queue up right afterwards.
There you go.
Huh.
And we have solved a thing. I don't know if we've necessarily.
Patsy Watch Guys movie. Got it.
Oh! What was the name of the what was the name of the funny so we were calling it Corsairs of the Golden Mermaid. That's the name of it. That's the name of our show that we randomly generated. Corsairs of the Golden Mermaid. And it turned out that Brock was like terrified of mer people.
Oh.
So that made it even funnier because it was completely random, right? So we randomly generated like his quirks. And one of his quirks was he hated mer people. And the show was called The Corsairs of the Golden Mermaid. And we're like, well, that's a conflict right there, isn't it?
There's everything.
It was so freaking funny. The best part about it is I actually kind of want to write it. You know, it's like there was so much silly, goofy, weird in it that I'm like, I actually kind of want to write it. You gonna put veins on that?
Me?
Yep.
I'm debating if I want to do that just in texture and save myself the time.
Yeah, maybe.
Because there's a lot. Like, I'm just sitting here looking at, like, I have a whole engine sitting here on my other screen. And that's a lot of subdivisions.
Yeah, I should do it as a one shot. You're right.
I was thinking one shot because also I gotta texture it, so I gotta UV map it. Like every one of those would be its own UV. I'm just like, I don't want to deal with that.
They're trying to encourage me to write Corsairs of the Golden Mermaid. I think I just may have to.
Do it.
Do it and you're cool. Do it and you're cool. Peer pressure.
Yeah, one shot comic. I like it.
Well, so yeah, we would.
The day the Earth slow to zombie crawl. Sorry. Yeah.
So, are you required to UV map the entire thing?
Mm-hmm.
Oh God.
So every object that I make, we're supposed to UV map it to what it's supposed to be. Well, this week coming up, as soon as I finish this, I'm hoping to get this done this week. So then I can go into class and be like, show it to my teachers like, so how do you UV map something like this?
Right.
Because I want you to tell me how this works.
Brent's saying to reply to Brent, if we all do one shots, does that mean we have a round in the house? Yes. Brent, yeah, I think that whole story was such an Airship 27 thing. It was so pulpy that you could taste the pulp. It was that pulpy. It was beautiful. I think that Ron would love it. Ron would love that story.
Wasn't the last book you owned very pulpy?
Yeah, I mean that's what they do at Airship 27. They're reviving the pulp genre.
I like that.
And so that's what I'm saying. That's what Brent's saying is it could be a one shot, and he's right. The Airship 27 would just eat that up. They think that would be awesome because it is just about as pulp as it gets. That didn't get me. It couldn't get any pulpier. We had an assassin who was screwed. She was the reason this all got screwed up. And what was it about the assassin? It was so freaking funny. There was all these. Oh man, it was good. It was good. It was like the pulpiest pulp thing I have ever invented, though. It was so funny. Okay. So I'm just trying to kind of get a feel of what this looks like. And I feel like, obviously, the cushion on the back here needs to be like shaped triangularly in order to sort of fit our Chakrana folks. But I think if you have a chair that just multitasks all the time, you just
let it out.
Yeah, I know.
Demons be gone. Whoa. What was that? Oh, I know what that is. Never mind.
Also,
That's good.
aren't you going to make those round?
Yeah, I'm just trying to get the shape better first.
Okay.
Round?
Would you like me to stop helping you?
What do you mean round? Like
Cylinders. They're
cylinder?
cylinder blocks. That's a cylinder.
Depending on the bike you're on, some of them are kind of more rectangular cylinders.
Yeah, I mean they are, but
Here, I'll show you.
inside is a cylinder.
I know.
Well, the head is so you're looking at what you're looking at there is yeah, I mean I kind of see where you're heading on this. So
Yeah,
the
so the
head
base
on
shape
that
of
one
it, yeah. So the
is
base shape
shaped
of
kind
it
of
is
like
a
this,
rectangle.
right?
Yeah.
And that's only because that way the lifters can come up through it.
Uh-huh.
That's
Yeah,
what
no,
those
so
are
yeah,
on
I
the
know the
side.
cylinders and the centers, it's round, but
Right.
I'm not building the inside.
That's true. There is
Yeah,
that.
so
I mean, that's
exterior
kinda
wise,
true.
it's just rectangles for the most part. And then I'm gonna come in and build like I can't remember what these are called off the top of my head. But like the
Lifters.
shafts right here, the
They're
lifters, yeah.
lifters. Yeah.
So I'm gonna put those in there as well. That's why I'm just trying to get the shape properly first, because then I can build those off of it. Then I'm gonna put the carburetor and all that other stuff in there. But I got to get the base engine fully built around first.
Right. Right.
Because literally, this is going to be the hardest part of this whole project. Everything else is pretty easy so far. It's just, there's just so much to this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, like, all my other assets, as you can see here, I'll just show it. Here's all the other assets I've been working on.
Gotcha.
But these are all done except for 2 of them. And then so by so by next week, Monday, put on 3D theater glass and then draw corner 3D mapping.
He's making notes about UV mapping.
Yep. So by next week, I'm supposed to have all my textures that I have done imported into Maya to build my scene and set it all up properly. So it's pretty much, we have 5 weeks, and what my teacher wants us to start doing now is by whatever we have done now, he's like, I want you to import it into your scene so we can see it and it's ready to go, it's finished, all that stuff. I'm like, okay, I can do that.
Right.
But also I'm doing the planning ahead of like, okay, we have this much time, but if I do not get the main piece done, the big piece, everything else is just going to fall apart.
Right.
Or I can just get rid of it and people are like, oh, it's a garage. You know, it's not going to be what I want it to be.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
So yeah, we're getting there. Because I
It
still have
goes-
to add stuff later on as well. But that stuff's the little add-ons and all that should be easier than the main. Going to be a lot easier than the main projects I'm trying to get done with it. So, but yeah, that's what I'm working on now, is trying to get this all situated.
All righty.
Where'd my thing go? There you are.
50 centimeters from the full floor. Okay. So we're going to go into Blender. And we're going to start building.
3D modeling club, let's go.
Yeah, time for us to 3D model. We've designed the chair. I'm pretty happy with this design.
Good, good.
We're loading Blender. All right. Now time to blend. All right. So I just read it and it said that chairs are about 50 centimeters. The seat of a chair needs to be about 50 centimeters off the floor. So we're going to go in here.
Where are you reading that at?
I looked it up on the internet.
Oh.
I typed in at Google, how high should your chairs be off the floor? And it said 18 inches. And I was like, well, that's great. But everything I do is in metric. So,
Metric conversion.
yep. So I was like, centimeters. I just typed in centimeters.
There you
I
go.
was like, that works. So these are meter squares. So we now know already. We got to go into edit mode, go into naked mode.
What is a
Select
meter
these
square?
guys.
Oh,
Right.
I know what I'm doing wrong. Hold on. Dude.
50 centi.
Why did that not work?
Okay.
We're all supposed to be the same. Come on, balance each other out.
Oh, how's your mom, by the way? As I just about fired off
Oh.
your mom joke. I was so ready.
It's been a rough week.
I see.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how sad you want this to go today.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's been a shitty week. It's been a pretty shitty week, but
I'm sorry,
my
man.
mom's doing all right. Her dad passed
Oh, no.
this morning. So
your grandpa?
Yep.
I'm sorry, man.
That's all right. It happens.
It does happen, but it's still not cool.
I know.
I mean, my dad passed in June.
Uh-huh.
And we even knew it was coming. It doesn't make it any better.
Oh, we knew this one was coming, but
it still doesn't make it any better.
Yeah. Well, my mom was supposed to be out here about now, actually, but canceled her flight because it happened before she left.
Yeah.
To come see him for his last minute. Him and her and her sister. Oh,
yeah.
Thanks, Patsy.
Yeah, my wife didn't quite make it out to see Dad one more time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to be one of those things that she regrets for a long time.
Yeah.
My wife is not a very sentimental person.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, just by nature. But boy, my dad once gave her a mug because we were doing the one of the things we were doing was we liked to go to one of those, paint it stores where you paint the pottery.
Mm-hmm.
They've got pre-made pottery and you paint the pottery and then they fire it. And so Dad just made this mug for her once. And I was kind of surprised. Once Dad passed away, she banned everybody from using that mug but her. And I'm like,
cute.
that's a remarkably sentimental thing for her to do and very sweet. It's a very sweet thing, but it's still very sentimental for her. Not her natural fare, which means that I think my dad's passing has affected her a lot more than I thought it did.
Right.
I mean, obviously, we're married. She knows my dad really well. I know her mom really well, and I know her dad very well. My mom passed before we ever met, so she never got to meet my mom. Well, that's not true. We have one story. She was living with all of us for a while there because she had no place else to live. So, we had this huge house, and there was 6 of us there.
Oh, wow.
And so she lived in the living room for a while.
Uh-huh.
And during that
your
time,
mom or your wife?
Not my wife.
Oh, okay.
At the time, just a buddy. She was just a friend at the time. But anyway, yeah,
That's what they all say.
That's what they all say. But she was. She answered the phone once, and my mom had this habit of calling up and just saying the score of a game, and then hanging up. That was her thing. So she'd call up and say, 7-0 Broncos, and then she'd hang up.
Oh, oh my God.
And it was so funny because that was her shtick. It was
that was your mom.
That was my mom. She was
That's
so
hilarious.
weird.
I love it.
Well, she was a character. And so, I mean, she really was. But my wife at the time, not my wife, answered the phone and didn't know this, even though everybody else in the household was used to it. And they would say, "Thanks, Donna." And she'd say, "No problem." And she'd hang up, and like it was her kind of way of saying she was a geek too. Because she had said that for all this time. There was no real difference between a Trekkie and a Broncomaniac, except we just wear different uniforms.
True.
That was
That
sort
is
of
the
her.
truest fact.
And in the 90s, that was kind of mind-blowing,
Yeah.
And so the fact that she said that was really cool and endeared her to our group, because she was effectively saying, "I'm one of you guys. I just like the Denver Broncos instead of Star Trek." But
That's
there's no
awesome.
difference between those two, really. And that was really kind of nice, because in the 90s, of course, the jocks were really big on, "We're absolutely not like you," And so
Oh,
it was
yeah.
kind of cool to have a sports fan say, "No, no, no, we're the same, man. You can tell me what episode Chekhov was in, and I can tell you how many runs Elway has had."
Right. That's awesome.
So it was actually, so she did it to just be cute. It was just really
Mhm.
her way of being part of the team, so to speak, even though, just to
That's a
say,
good way to relate to you, though. Like, to
yeah,
relate to our kids and all that. It's like, hey, we
yeah,
we may not like the same thing, but we do have a lot of similarities that you just don't realize.
right, exactly.
She
And
realized
so
that.
it was a cute thing, but my wife had no idea. And
That's
so
awesome.
one time she called, it was like, 23-0 Avalanche or whatever, because she was also an Avs fan. And my wife's like, "Who is this?"
What the?
And then
Who the hell?
later on, my mom's like, "Who's the girl that answered the phone? Because I don't like her."
Nice.
And later on in life, of course, I married her, and I was like, so we have all made this assumption that my wife and my mom would not have gotten along.
That's
It's just
great.
sort of story now, it's like, because of
Right.
that one interaction, we've just decided that my wife and my mom would never have gotten along.
That's fantastic. I love it.
It is and that is just such a thing. It was so funny, and it's still a story that my best friend James likes to tell. He thinks that's hysterical, that I ended up marrying that girl.
The girl that your mom was like, I don't like her.
Who is that girl? Because I don't like her.
Also,
Oh man, that was particularly funny. I think that the reality probably is that my mom would be fine.
it would have been fine.
My mom would have really loved her grandkid, though. That's the one sad part about the whole thing, because my mom died young.
Right.
And the real sad thing is she never got to see her grandkid,
That is always always a tough one.
Yeah, it's a sad, sad thing. We gotta go to modeling. We're in layout. We gotta go to modeling.
One edge or two edge. We're gonna go two.
Anyway, that was all to say I feel for you, man.
Oh, I know. I know.
I'm
I
sorry about your
appreciate it.
grandpa, man.
Yeah, I loved him. He was a good guy. Really good guy.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not trying to be completely insensitive, just mostly insensitive. You know,
Oh no.
we have to
Very
have our
good.
priorities.
Nah, yeah, he pretty much what happened. Like the reason why the whole week was kind of was because the day I'm supposed to leave on Thursday. No, Friday. I was leaving Friday morning, and Thursday's when he went to the hospital.
Yeah.
I'm over here talking to my mom. Was like, so what's the plan?
Right. Do you want me to stay?
Am I staying? Are you coming here? Are we taking the flight back together? What's the deal?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
pretty much where that was, and I was like, yep.
And then you're like, should I have stayed? And it just becomes one of those things where you're just like,
I mean, like me and my grandfather are close, but as I've gotten older, we've kind of drifted apart, like everybody
sure,
does,
like everybody does.
especially when you get older. So I mean, like we've we've lost we lost connection for a while there, but just haven't really had time to talk with him or hang out with him or whatnot. So
Sure. But that's normal. I mean, there's nothing
yeah,
weird about that. My
yeah,
grandfather was a World War II vet,
yeah.
and he never quite understood what my interest in Japan was.
Right. Oh, yeah. That would make sense.
And it's so funny. We talk about, I actually kind of use this as a critical race theory discussion or thing because
Uh-huh.
it's interesting. For the longest time, I didn't understand what my grandfather's problem with Japan was, but it turns out that our history of Japan here in America kind of
Is
glosses
screwed.
over some of the weirder atrocities that Japan did
Yeah.
during World War II. And it wasn't until I was much older that I understood that,
Like which things? I'm kind of curious now.
like the infamous Unit 713 in China. Most of the
Oh,
stuff about the rape of Nanking and things like that.
right.
But when I was younger, of course, we didn't know anything about the rape of Nanking. We just knew that the Japanese held China. And so, I mean, because the way he responded about me liking Japan was like that I liked Nazi Germany. I mean, he
Yep.
was really like, I don't get it. I don't understand what your infatuation with Japan is. And I
Mhm.
didn't understand, you know, and so I kind of get, it's like even the Japanese don't quite know what the Japanese did. I mean, like the Japanese people in general
Mhm.
don't know what all went down
Right.
in China, and they never learned it. And it's kind of like,
Oh, it's kind of like in Germany. I think it's the East Germany, South Germany, whatever. They don't teach anything about World War II.
right?
So they probably do the same in Japan as well. Of like, hey, we're not going to teach this part of our our history because we did a lot of we did a lot of shit we're not proud of.
Yeah, and
But
though I
also makes me
kind of,
wonder what we've done that we've buried in
gloss
our
over.
history books.
Well, that's what CRT is all about, critical race theory. I mean,
Hmm.
I keep learning stuff about how we treated black people, and
Oh
every
God, yeah.
time I'm like, we did what? you know, it was like another level of, oh. And I
Oh
get it.
no.
You don't want to think badly of yourself, and I understand that.
Yeah, I get that
Nobody
part too.
wants to, and I totally get that.
Hmm.
Can I make this a different object, please? Thank you. Just this time. Just this time. Thank
Just
you.
one object? No.
Well, it made the last object, and it made it exactly like
Oh, that's not
it
what
made it
I
just like the
wanted. Let's try that again.
what?
Oh, it was trying to connect an object from like the um across the
You
map.
cross
And
the
I was
map.
like, nope. Please
Could we
no.
not do that, please? Yeah.
I do not want that one. Uh,
Anyway, so yeah, it was just I didn't understand.
yeah, no, I get that.
And I get it now. I mean, he's not, I mean, obviously you can't judge current Japanese off of
Oh
what,
yeah, no.
I mean, they
That's
didn't
the part that
know.
always surprises me. I'm like, when people start getting really into that part, I'm just like, but that's not what it's like right now. Like now is different than what it used to be. And they're like, well, it doesn't. I'm like, you're still stuck in the past.
Yeah, I mean, like, sure, nothing with the, well, I mean, like there are kinds of things that I learned. I just recently learned that of the like 1,500 black people who tried over the last, well, from 1870 to 1970,
Yeah.
1,500 people tried to become senators or congressmen or whatever. And of those, like 1,450 of them were murdered along with their families.
Holy shit.
Yeah, like there's a reason why black people don't take power.
Because we suppress it. Great.
Right, because the KKK was killing them.
Yeah.
And it was like,
KKK.
right? I mean, like, and of course we're all like, oh yeah, man, the KKK sucks, but I can at least now kind of the way our media sort of portrays it is kind of like, well, black people were freed, and then they just for some reason sat around and didn't do anything. It's like that's kind of not what happened.
It's not fully true. They did a lot of things.
That's not what happened. Now that I kind of learned this, I'm like, oh, I didn't know. Because we don't
Right.
teach it. And it's the same thing. It's like Patsy's talking about her dad had feelings about Japan too. And it's like, it's interesting because like my grandpa fought in World War II. And I'm like, you'd think that he'd be more aggravated about Germany than he would be about Japan. But he wasn't, you know, it was like he was like really bent about me being into Japan. And now I've learned.
It also depends, I guess. I also think it also depends on where you were stationed too.
He was stationed in Seattle.
I guess that's closer.
Like, doesn't even make sense.
I'm like, I guess it's close to Japan. I don't know how that makes full sense, but it's closer.
Right. No, he was in the Corps of Engineers and stationed in Seattle.
Wow.
And so even that didn't quite make sense.
Right.
I don't know. I'm intrigued by this. And it's like we don't learn that stuff. So what we learn is like a history where we're like, no, we don't know why those people are upset. I guess they were just, holding a grudge for 100 and some odd years.
Why are people mad at America? We don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, when we talk about like, and I think that's why critical race theory is what the point behind it is.
Right. I mean, it's
to teach us that there's actually a reason. Yeah,
no, I get that.
Did have attacks planned, and they actually successfully managed to attack Seattle with a balloon.
Who?
Japan.
Really?
Yep.
With a balloon?
A balloon, a bomb tied to a balloon. It blew up it blew up in the forest. So it started a forest fire, and that's like the best they managed to pull off.
Nice.
They were trying. I mean, it's not like they it's just that U.S. Navy was pretty good at sussing them out.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was really hard for them. They couldn't get a foothold. They tried really hard. They couldn't get a foothold.
I had tax plan for San Francisco that never happened.
Yep.
That's the other part, though. Is like it's war. Like there's so many things that happen in war that what the heck is going on here?
We were talking about this on Reddit, and it was
whoa, what did I do?
Yeah, I was going to say I just pushed the wrong button. Don't touch anything. We're talking about this on Reddit. There's a difference between war and becoming cruel.
True.
And I think we all sort of just operate on the plan that when war actually occurs, we do it because it's a necessity, and we all should just treat it like that. Like, kind of like when you have to put your cat down. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that. That's just.
I mean, like,
I was expecting that kind of analogy.
Yeah, but I mean, like when you have to put an animal down or something like that, you do it with dignity and well, we got to do this sort of thing.
Right. Oh my God.
So when you have people where you find out that they were raping people or they were having fun with different various ways and methods to kill people, it changes the tone. And it becomes more of a, now, wait a minute, you shouldn't be enjoying war. Nobody should be enjoying war, Like
If you're enjoying war,
morally,
that's usually when everybody's like, hold on,
right?
wait a sec.
Morally, we need to not be doing that. So I think what happened is both the Nazis and the Imperial Japanese, and I have to be very specific here, both the Nazis and the Imperial Japanese
Hmm.
were in some ways very much looking like they were enjoying the war, enjoying what they were doing.
Right.
And so that's where it's up, you know, let's not do that,
Right. How do I want to do this?
On the same token, I think that that's part of it is that,
Build it.
everybody wants to make it look like, and that may actually be the analogy it's going on too, because clearly white supremacists were enjoying that too, enjoying the supremacy.
Of course they were.
And so to some degree, it's kind of like, that's part of it. There are folks who really just want it to be like, well, we're very sorry we had to have slavery because that's very important for our economy or whatever. And once we learned our moral values, we stopped doing that. You know what I mean? They kind of want that feel. Nobody really wants to have to go, no, they were having fun.
Right.
They were killing people and enjoying every last minute of it. Nobody wants that. And I feel for that. I just don't know if that's an appropriate thing, obviously.
Right.
I think we should just own up to it, We were doing it.
We did the thing.
We did the thing.
Doop, 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 doop. There we
We
go.
should get over it.
Right.
I don't know how you ended up here with me on a critical race theory day. I don't know my problem. I'm like trying to figure this stuff out in my head. We were talking about Hero's Journey. That was a much safer topic.
Yeah, we were talking about Hero's Journey.
What's my problem? That was a much safer topic.
Oh, boop. No, not that way. There we go. Come on. One more.
All right, so I'm just making the cushion on the chair here. I'm just kind of pulling this back in.
That way. Save all that.
Maybe you're absolutely right there, Ghost Hand. Maybe it's about imperialistic conquest. Like, we're going to take over Brazil because we just want Brazil. You know what I mean? Like,
that
from the point of view of Brazil, you'd be like, hey, whoa, hey, what? I can see that. Maybe it is. It's more like it's.
It makes sense, though. I mean, slavery wasn't just America; it was Europe, Africa. Most slaves were.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
And Donald,
I mean,
the problem really is that it's not racial; it's cultural. But the culture happens to be defined by race. So, because technically speaking, it's absolutely true. One of the reasons why this entire problem is so complicated is because it's not really about skin color. It's about a culture group that happens to be of that skin color. So people define it by skin color, but it's not really defined by skin color. It's African Americans specifically. And it's specifically the people who were here as slaves. And then when they got freed, they were not allowed by the systems to actually have freedom. And that's part of the discussion, is that all of these different structures in our economic structure and our cultural structure, things like that, were specifically bent against people of that particular culture group. For that matter, any culture group, because we weren't very positive towards Native Americans either, or pretty much anybody. And for a while, even the Irish were in that depressed culture group. Really, I didn't find this out, but redlining was legal until 1986.
Redline.
like
district
red
redlining?
Yeah, where you take a red line and say white people only pass this
Yep.
line. Red line
Oh,
on a
yeah.
map. That was
So, yeah,
legal.
district redlining, yep.
Yeah, that was legal until 1986.
Doesn't surprise
That's like
me.
the year the Challenger blew up. I remember 86. You know what I mean? Like, whoa.
I don't. It was all dark.
Yep. Yeah, right. But I mean, it's like that's one of the things that blew my mind. I was like, I can't believe that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, so my mom's best friend is black, and she's sort of one of the people that really made me understand a whole bunch of stuff.
I can do that.
Right? Like, I didn't even know until I talked to her.
Yeah.
And what's so funny is I knew her in 1986. You know what I mean? Like,
Uh-huh.
I suddenly realized that this individual who is important to me, she was literally suffering from this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, this person literally was not allowed to move into certain neighborhoods here in Denver when I knew her.
That's
I mean, I
crazy.
still know her now, obviously.
Yeah, I'm just still saying
But-
though, it's just crazy thinking about that's
Right. I mean,
actually
like,
a
I was talking to an individual, not only intellectually talking to somebody
Mm-hmm.
who literally could not move to a neighborhood because of her skin color.
Yep. These are the conversations me and my mom kind of get into, and it usually goes semi
A different direction, huh?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's not what I wanted. Whoa, hold on.
Well, and Donald, that's the problem. That's the misunderstanding that people have, is that nobody wants to shame us. We just want to be like, for example, like I was saying, was like the dialogues that I was taught in school was that black people were freed, and and they're just mad because of that, and that's why they're not doing anything, because they're angry.
They're
You know what I
angry
mean?
because they're free.
Yeah, because they're angry because they were once slaves, and that was
I
sort of the
know.
dialogue that we were
Right.
getting. And now I'm like, gosh, until 1974, they were getting killed if they were trying to make better of
Whoa,
themselves.
what was I doing? Whoa,
And until
something happened.
1986, they couldn't move. You know,
Absolutely.
so it's like that's what people want to know is, or want to say, is not a matter of shame. It's a matter of understanding.
That's what I did. Okay. That was weird.
Economic slavery doesn't see color. No, it doesn't. And boy, I got to tell you, some of us are stupidly slaves to the economy.
Yep.
I'm bitter about that too. You're not going to see me defend the economy.
That's what I told my boss so I got my transfer finally to the station up here right next to my house. Literally a 5-minute drive.
Good job.
So it's gonna be awesome instead of the 45-minute drive down to Littleton every day.
Right.
But that doesn't take an effect till January, which I'm fine with. But
yeah,
he
but
was
at least
literally
you know a change is coming.
right. And he was literally, when I was in there reading the offer letter just to see what they were actually offering, make sure everything was all in line. He's like, the GM was actually like groveling pretty much, like, dude, what do I have to do to keep you here? Blah blah. I'm like, cool. What I told him was like, fix the economy.
Yeah.
I was like,
Sorry.
I can't live in our network. Our network's way too expensive. Like, everything I find here in this area is pretty much $1,000 to like $1,500 for just a 1-bedroom studio. And I was like, this is yeah, if you can do that, sure, I'll stay. And he said he couldn't do that. So
Yeah,
well,
sadly.
I'm sorry, you're losing me.
Yeah.
There's not much I can do now. So but yeah, that was kind of it's just funny. After you said that, fix the economy, I'm like, yep, I told that to my boss.
So, Patsy, are you talking about genealogy? Because genealogy is also rough if you get into Native Americans.
Yeah.
It's rough if you're anywhere but Europeans. And some of that is structural. I mean, like, they didn't know. Nobody thought in the whatever.
Why is up with that vert? Why is that one the only one that's selected? Stop it. Sorry.
They didn't know about the need to or a desire to trace familial lines, and I mean, frankly, some of my family could care less about, or couldn't care less, I guess, couldn't care less about family ties. And so if it wasn't for the people who like to do genealogy, there wouldn't be any holding on to the family tree anyway. Literacy helps, though. Okay. Feel like we may have lost Ghost Hand and Brent for our discussion topics here.
Is Brent on lunch?
Hey, Brent might be on lunch. I think Brent had to go do his lunch thing.
Right.
Okay, I think we're good here. I think this is a good bottom.
Oh, is that your seat?
Yeah, the seat bottom here. And I'll just make this top piece black.
Well, I'm going to take a quick 2 seconds to go get more coffee.
Yeah, that sounds fine.
All right. Be right back.
I'll be here. Call this one seat black. And select you and then assign seat black. Okay, why is it not making base color black? Right? He just needs to get all of us coffee. What's his problem? Oh, I know why. It needs to be in shading mode.
All right.
There we go.
What'd I miss?
There we go. Now we got seat black. And
Can you get me a cup of coffee? I got you, Patsy. I'm on my way.
yeah. And this is white. And then I will go into object mode and select this object. I see. We don't get to keep it. I need to get this to not be gray. I guess it's going to be this color, and that's just the way it's going to work. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Forgo my feelings.
Are you sure it's fine?
No. I think I'm duly offended is what I am. Okay, now for the hard part. This is the easy part. Okay, so go here.
Face. Yeah. Extrude. Let's see here.
Well, that's so extrude. All right. I'm easily entertained. I don't know what your problem is. Oh, you're going to add this to that. Don't do that. Object mode. Object mode, select nothing. Add, mesh, cube. There we go. Object mode, edit mode. Arrgh. It's frustrating. It's like these weird counterintuitive rules to 3D.
Right.
You know, it's all designed on the principle of, but what if you just wanted to do this one thing once? So we've made it very easy for you to do this one thing. Well, yeah, but that's the thing I do like once every 50 or 60 objects. Well, yeah, but you need to do it, right? Okay.
That's what you wanted. No.
No?
Yeah, kinda.
No? I mean, I'm like, I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. We're going to take you and put you right here.
I kind of needed that, but not really. I don't know where to
Right?
go with this answer.
We'll push this
Why is
back
that?
to
Oh, that's why. Okay, that's why it's looking
be in line here. And then we will do extrude, extrude.
line this guy.
That's so
with this
extrude.
one.
All right. All righty. So we'll do this. We'll do this. This doesn't have to be like perfectly awesome. This has to look roundish. Because it's got to fold, so we're going to have it clipping forward, right?
Right. Whoa, that's not what I wanted to do.
It's totally what you wanted. You just didn't
Maybe.
know it.
Yeah, that's true. Stop it.
Okay, looking back at my drawing here, I've got kind of a clip going forward, so let's go on ahead and do something similar to that.
Let's go 80, 40, 30, 40, 40, fine, 40.
Yep. Do you still see Ghost Hand out there, Brent? Because I don't see Ghost Hand. So
Well,
I
he's
see
on
you.
Twitch now, so they probably can see each other on Twitch.
Oh, maybe he's just reaching out to Ghost Hand because he's on the channel.
Right.
And Ghost Hand sometimes just gets really busy all of a sudden, and that's totally
fine.
cool. It's absolutely normal.
We all get it.
Just you, huh? I wondered if Ghost Hand had to leave. Sometimes he has to leave, and that makes total sense. He's a busy guy. I appreciate him visiting me.
Whoa, too close, too close. Back that up.
Yeah.
Right view.
That's like the beginning of Aladdin. Come a little closer. Come a little too close.
Too close, too close. Hold up.
Yeah, man, that's funny. Okay, where's the center point of this thing? Way down there. Okay, let's do this.
Oh yeah, the narrator.
Yeah.
Yep, I do remember him now. Yeah, I was like,
that was Robin Williams.
He did like 4 voices in that film, if I
He
remember
really
right.
did. Okay.
Because he did that. He did Genie. Who else did he do? God, I know he did like 3 people.
Yeah, he
3 to
did a
4 people,
lot.
something like that.
Okay, now we've got to put this down like this so that we can kind of get an idea of, gee willikers, we have gone way too far out. All right.
Oh no, he just did the Genie and the Merchant. That was it.
Oh, well, I
thought he
thought
did
he was
more than that.
uncredited for the Merchant. Maybe
I mean,
he's-
they're going. I just looked it up just very quick, and it says
Yeah.
just Genie and Merchant are the only 2 that he was accredited for, or that he's labeled as.
Right. Well, since I believed he was uncredited for the Merchant, clearly I am not quite as educated on this one as I thought.
Right. I just thought he was really good at a lot of things.
Well, yeah. Okay. This is the shape that we want it to be in, I guess. I don't know. Because we're going to have a headrest right here. So the headrest should live like there-ish.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's talk about the top view of this thing. Because of course,
So that's the bay. Okay. Interesting. So there's a group I also just joined from school that we're doing pretty much concept art for like we're coming up with like concept art themes. And they want to do this week, not week, but this month. We're doing this one just for until the end of the semester.
Yeah.
So everybody doesn't get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
It is underwater seafair.
Huh.
And I love the idea. I'm like, all right, I'm totally down to do this. But like everything I'm thinking of right now is the Japanese street fairs that I went to, and it makes me really sad because I want to go back. So.
Right.
They were so much fun.
Matsuri.
I was actually really surprised that like when we went, like we got to go to 2 of them.
Right.
Because my friend's like, oh yeah, we'll go. Oh, you guys saw one? I'm like, yeah, we were actually kind of at one. She's like, oh, that's awesome, perfect. Makes this easier for her because next thing you know, she's like, cool, we're gonna go here. I'm like, where are we going? And then we walked down to the street corner, and there was another fair. I'm like, this is awesome. I'm back. Let's go.
Yep.
It was such a good time.
The Matsuri were so cool.
I want to go back to Japan so bad.
All right.
That was like my favorite trip I've ever done in my life, and I want to do it again. Curse you, COVID.
All right. Well,
You're taking people from me, and now you're taking my vacations.
Yeah. I agree with you, Brent. Robin Williams was amazing.
One of the best. Do that. Bring it down. There you are. We'll go here. There we go.
It's funny. Robin Williams holds an NFL record.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
He holds an NFL record for being the first male cheerleader.
Oh. Never mind. That makes sense now.
Yeah.
That makes
And
a
it's
lot
like
more sense
really
now.
funny because I didn't know that was actually a Broncos game. I thought it was staged.
Was that at a Broncos game?
It was at a Broncos game.
Wow. Okay. That's new. I did not realize
And
that. Boom.
it was a legit Broncos game. They were playing the Patriots.
Nice.
And they won the game too.
Is this where I want it?
But it was interesting that that's
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. That's that's a new one.
right.
The more you know. So if we do this way, we can go.
We're gonna take this
Oh,
guy
it's gonna be weird.
here.
How am I gonna do this?
We'll run this guy here.
Do I do it that way? Could do it that way. Let's do this part first, though.
That's what they all say. I don't know. I'm just
Straighten those out.
making stuff up here.
Now that
The cherry blossom festivals are always something.
that's in May, though, isn't
It
it?
depends.
It depends. Okay.
Yep. Usually it's in March, May-ish, give or take. But it
With the
completely, or
insemination
March
stuff.
through May. It depends on when your trees are blossoming.
Oh, okay. Makes sense. Let's see here. Will it let me do what I'm planning? I said verts. Thank you. Vert to vert. No, because there's no face. That's why you're not gonna let me do it. Thanks.
And
All right,
then
fine then.
we went Studio Ghibli.
That was one. I want to go back and do a museum tour.
Oh, because you didn't go to the Ghibli Museum in Mitaka?
We didn't go.
Oh
No.
my
So
goodness. That's like Mecca for us animation people.
I know. Well, we went to so since there's 6 people in our group, we all kind of picked the one big thing we all wanted to do. That was the one big spot that one of us wanted to go to. Mine was the Square Enix stores. The
Fair.
one in Shibuya. Shibuya?
Yep.
Yeah, I wanted to go there because they have the cafe and everything. That was my biggest one. I was like, I want to go there. And I didn't even think we were gonna. All right, have a good one, Patsy.
Bye, Patsy.
That was mine. My other friend is super into One Piece, and they did the whole huge thing in Tokyo Tower. The big, looks like the Eiffel Tower.
Mm-hmm.
So he went to go. We went there to go do that with him, and then, one friend just wanted food, so he was the easiest to please. He's like, as long as we get food wherever, I'm happy. So we just kept going to random places and getting food. He was happy as hell.
Fair.
One of our friends was really big into BOGO Stray Dogs, if you know what that one is.
Yes.
So, but they kind of did that on their own. We were all going to go with them to the cafe because they had a bar cafe that they built for that show.
Uh-huh.
And we were going to go. We were actually all right, cool. We can probably do this and go do that. And then next thing you know, it's no, I'm going to go do it by myself. So I'm like, okay, if you want company, it's no, I have friends here. I'm going with them. I'm like, all right. So they left and went and did that. But the biggest one,
sort of bitter about that.
kind of I kind of wanted to go just check it out because I just wanted to experience everything. But yeah, they had fun. But also, that was also our day that we took off to go meet friends that we actually had in Japan that were doing exchange programs.
Gotcha.
Like being teachers and whatnot. And they weren't really fond of one of the people there, so it actually it made it easier for us to go hang out with them and not have to worry about conflict. I'm just going to hang out with my friends today. I'm like, okay, have fun.
Fair.
So they did that. We all hung out. It was fine. But they just showed us around. That was pretty much all it was. They would just take us around and go show us all these things that we know, like that tourists wouldn't know. Like I did not know that Japan had $3 you call it bars. That was the coolest thing in the world. I was like, what is this? Like everything on the menu is $3. I'm like, everything on the menu? They're like, yep, everything. So we just start buying everything. It was a lot of fun. It was so much fun.
Yep.
Like huge pints of beer for $3 and then like sakis and everything. I was like, this is weird. I'm not used to this. Like this stuff's
Yeah,
supposed
but
to be
on the other
charged.
hand, that's not exactly like the world's best beer either.
No, it wasn't, but it was fun. We had a good time.
You know what? That's all that's really important, I guess, in the end.
I think that's literally what they're built for, though. Like they're built just to come and have a good time, be cheap, have fun, eat some food because it's a lot of snacks.
Yep.
So it's like a lot of like, hey, we want like a whole bunch of stuff for the whole table, so we all just sitting there snacking with each other. It was a blast.
Fair.
But yeah, because then after we were done with that, we went back to our Airbnb. But on the way back, we stopped at a 7-Eleven because my friend's like, you guys want to keep going? I'm like, sure, let's keep drinking. So we went 7-Eleven, bought a whole bunch of beer, went back to our place, and just sat around the kotatsu and just drank and had a good rest of the night. It was a great time. Those are the memories I miss.
Right? You're just hanging out at the kotats.
Yeah,
That sounds
just
awesome.
hanging out. Like literally, I'm sitting here, I have my tablet out. We're all chilling. I'm drawing. My friends we're all just talking, hanging out, chilling, and all that stuff, and just drinking beer at a kotatsu. I'm like, this is the life. I could go with this any day of my life. Oh my god.
My wife had an apartment, and in the summer, boy, we just opened up the doors on her living room because she had these huge sliding doors that just opened up, and we just sit there and watch the night.
Oh, that sounds great.
It was just so cool. And that worked really well until our
peaceful.
cat tried to escape more than once. Then it was like, well, come on. So
That's fair. That's fair.
You know, it's like at some point we're like, okay,
Curse those
CG's just
cats.
going to try to escape, and so let's just not. But it was for a while there. It was just so wonderful. It was the way to do a summer too, because gosh, the summers could be brutal.
Yeah, as I say, Japanese summers are not.
Okay.
nicest.
Child abduction.
Oh, is that what's going on?
Yeah, I can't shut it up either.
No, but I can stop the buzzing, so I can have my phone back.
I mean, I appreciate those.
I do
Especially
too.
since that's an 11-year-old, which is the same age as my kid.
I appreciate them too. Don't get me wrong. It's just like,
boy, they are a little alarming. Which I guess
good.
is the idea.
I think that's the idea of them. But yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, the summers can be brutal.
Yeah.
My friend's like trying to get us to go there because he wants to take us because we all speak Japanese. So it's like, you know, it's nicer because you have somebody who actually is familiar with the culture. It makes it a whole lot easier when you're wandering around the culture. And he's like, well, but you know, we'll have to go during summer because it's the only time all of us are off. And I'm like, okay, but you know what you're signing up for, right? Because Tokyo is no joke during summertime.
Right.
It's like brutal.
I know. My favorite time to go, like after I went in November, I was like, it was perfect.
Yeah.
November was perfect weather. Oh my god.
Because it's after monsoon, which, you know, that can suck too. It's after monsoon. But it's, you know.
Yeah.
It's not as horrible.
No, it wasn't that bad. It was perfect. It was like the weather was nice the whole time we were there. You can dress in like long sleeves or you can go shorts.
Yeah.
Like you're just like this actually like it was really up to you. What is that? Is that a cushion or is that folded?
Yeah. This is the folded down chair.
Oh, okay.
So it's folded down and this is the cushion that the Shakrana sit on.
Laughing at me.
Lots of drinking in TC1. Oh God.
Good times.
Yeah, good times. Yeah, but
Well,
I think
yeah.
this is going to look pretty good. I think we're dealing
It
good
looks
here.
good. But yeah, like I would go back in a heartbeat. But like, yeah, they were because our biggest goal, primarily for that visit, anyways, was to see our friend.
Right.
At least one of our friends who was there. I just started hitting up everybody else while we were out there. I'm like, hey, we're all going to be out there just because I was like, I haven't seen you like a year or two now because you guys actually like it over here. So
Right.
let me hit you up while I'm in your neck of the woods. And we had a good time. But
Yeah.
like the biggest one that I want to go and do like more because I really wanted to go see the Gundam.
Yeah, I don't blame
We
you.
didn't get to do that. I was like, that would have been so cool. But it was something I can't remember what why.
Jodiba Gundam. Yeah.
I think it was because to get over there just
It's an
wasn't
island.
feasible at the time span that we were there for. Nice. But
I still had to go to school. In my stupid little, I love that thing. It was a K car.
Oh yeah, the
So
little
K
car you
car
showed it.
with the
Yeah, that's
yellow with the
awesome.
yellow plates.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, it weighed like 6 or 7 pounds. I don't even know. It was this
Oh no,
little
I seen them. I'm like, that does not look like
no, and I'm sitting out there, and there were these
a light
spots where
breeze
I'd
would
leave
make it fly into
town.
the air.
I would leave town, and then it'd just be this long road across fields of usually rice or sometimes leek or sometimes, but either way, it didn't really
Yeah.
matter. It was like these open fields. So I'd be in town and I'd be driving along, and then we'd open up to these fields, and my car, and I'm like, well, if I end up in a rice field, we all know what happened.
This reminds me of those little Volkswagen Rabbits. Those things were just like that.
Just so funny, and I'm like, I'm gonna die in this car, and that's gonna be the thing, and we will all discuss how Guy once lived, but then he got killed by a little K car. It's so funny. It was like the thing. I don't know.
I like it.
Cube 3 belongs to Cube 2.
Is there multiple? There's that side. Give me the other side.
That won't work. Okay. Because I need to lift it back up now so I can look at the other side of it. Because I'm happy with the back.
Right.
Now I kind of need to lift it up to go to the
Okay,
front.
so it is only one side. Okay.
Guess I'll just lift it up and then go here and do the same thing and just lift you up too. Except you're way off of your centroid, so that's gonna suck.
You're so lifting, guy.
I am. I'm a lifting sort of person. I'm uplifting. There we go. We'll do that. I can just take you and lift. Okay, see, that's not what I wanted you to do. I'm just saying. You people need to stop and be like more normal.
More normals.
More normals. Stop being weird. Stop being weird. Why can't you just be normal? Screams. Yeah. There we go. Put this right here because it's not normal. There we go. And then push it back until it
So Brent
does.
was also stationed in Japan?
Yeah. He's a Marine.
Nice.
He did Marine-y things.
That's
Okay.
fair. There's a lot that, yeah, that sounds about right. Running out of movies to watch. Remember my sensei, he did a year of traveling and just learning martial arts from different nations. He started in China, stayed at a Buddhist temple, and he said that was our currency for everybody that stayed there with him was They would have their friends burn everything onto DVDs and send them out to them. So then that was their way of like, oh, here's the new movies, hand them off. Nice.
There was a place called Tsutaya, and it was like a Blockbuster,
Uh-huh.
and it was, I don't know. I mean, like Blockbuster's kind of, you could rent movies, but then they would also have like movies that downgraded, so they'd been rented a lot, but now they're just for purchase because
Right.
they weren't in very good condition anymore or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so we would go to Tsutaya all the time, and mostly we were just picking up anime, of course, because we're like, hey, look, we can't get this in the States. You know, it's like, what's a Blockbuster? Yeah.
What's a Blockbuster?
So, but there was like a couple of times where I went there and like the weirdest things, like I picked up Moonlighting seasons 1 and 2. You know, that 80s show with Sybil Shepherd and Bruce Willis.
Sounds familiar, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it was Bruce Willis's first foyer out into the real world. I mean, he'd been in little bit parts up into this point, but then he got Moonlighting, and it ran for like 6 seasons or something. It was a big deal in the 80s. And anyway, I remember it as a kid watching it with my mom. It was one of my mom's like favorite shows. She was just so into Moonlighting. And so I watched it all the time as a kid. Well, I was in Japan and they had season 1 and 2 of Moonlighting, and you can't actually find that here. It's not available here. You can't actually get it. And so I was like, wow. So I picked it up and I bought it for like, I think I bought it for like 3,000 yen or something. I mean, it really wasn't that expensive.
That's cheap.
It was like super expensive. And I was like, dude. So I've still got that downstairs in the basement. And I'm like, someday I should just rip those discs. The problem is, of course, they're all region 2, which means you have to set up your ripper to be region 2. And then once you do, it locks itself as region 2 from that point forward, which is irritating. But so I'm going to ultimately do all of that, all of the discs of the things that I bought in Japan and rip them. I got a whole bunch of Dharma and Greg. I was into Dharma and Greg for a while there. That was fun.
Nice.
Sitcoms are kind of comforting to me, especially 80s sitcoms, because they're simple. You know, when I'm having like a super complex day and I'm so over, yeah, Handbrake's a good one, but it's not, Handbrake isn't the problem. It's not the software. Your computer hard locks to region 1 or region 2. They intentionally built it that way so you'd be forced to only use your region DVDs. And it's extraordinarily irritating, and it still makes me mad. And luckily they didn't do that with Blu-ray.
Good.
Which is good, because that is stupid. Still bitter. Still very bitter.
Still bitter. You sound very bitter about this guy.
I'm very bitter. I know you can't tell, but I'm bitter. I should tell you how I really feel. It was mostly irritating for those of us that were in 2 different cultures.
Right.
Because those of us that were in 2 different cultures, it was specifically targeting us. And it was like, really? Really?
We just want one thing. That's all we want.
Yeah, we just want to watch our anime, and you're going to make this hard because you want to make money off of it. Gotcha.
Which we understand, but at the same time, really.
Well, and now that, now that time has gone on, see you later. Have a good week. Now that time has gone on, there's a whole bunch of stuff that just never came out.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's like, well, that's even more irritating.
Right.
You know, They did it so that they could have money. Well, that's fine. I get that. But all it really did was meant that, like, there's an entire group of people that have never heard of moonlighting, as an example. Which I think Bruce Willis kind of wants, because I think Bruce Willis likes the idea that he is known as an action hero star.
Oh, it's like a moonlighter.
Well, no, he's known as action hero, but he's actually a really good comedian. Because in Moonlighting, the story was about moonlighting. The plot was that this washed up model actress,
Mm-hmm.
needs to find a new career, so she opens up a detective agency and
okay.
hires Bruce Willis's character to be her partner, because she actually doesn't know anything about detective agencying. And it's the whole thing is based sort of like Taming of the Shrew.
Okay. Nice.
So like Bruce Willis plays the Petruchio character, and Sybil Shepherd plays the Katerina type character.
Mm-hmm.
And so the idea is that they are in love with each other, sort of, but it's a very adversarial relationship.
Right.
And
I
it
like Taming
was,
of the Shrew. That was a good one.
yeah, it was a good one. And in fact, the show is kind of cool in its groundbreaking way, because it was one of the first shows that actually kind of broke fourth wall.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of like did this weird fourth wall breaking thing. One of the episodes, Maddie, the main character Maddie, she hits her head and ends up seeing Taming of the Shrew, where she is Katerina. And I mean, like, literally they were like right in your face with this so much they made an entire episode where Bruce Willis is playing Petruchio trying to get Katerina, and like it was really funny, and it was like, it was a clever show.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating because it was cute, and I mean part of it is obviously it's like a lot of 80s shows. It didn't age as well as some of the others. It's
Right.
like watching Knight Rider. Don't.
Don't.
Knight Rider was so much cooler when you were like 10. It's not so cool now. Kind of sad. So, but yeah, it's kind of sad, just
Mm-hmm.
frustrating-ish.
Right. All right. Let's see here.
We have
Since it's gonna
15
be
minutes left.
No.
All right.
Done that. Don't need that. Those. Yep. We got a tube.
And that's kind of cool looking. I didn't expect it to be that way, but it looks kind of cool.
But it worked.
Yeah, I mean, putting this seat back on here so that we could get our little three-legged people on here actually makes it look pretty kick butt.
Nice.
It's kind of neat. I'm like, yeah, it works actually.
This is working in better than I thought it.
Yeah, like, but that works. Who knew?
All right, let's see here. So if you touch that, let's do this because I want it thinner. Yeah.
And we ended up with you sticking out here, and you didn't need to stick out. You need to go into here, like so. And then you kind of lean back a little. There we go.
Huh? Yeah, just like that. Look at that.
Now you're working with Mazzola.
We're getting there finally.
Yep. All right. And you know what I feel? As much as I like this wide-hipped look, it's probably not as good as it should be. So let's thin it down a little. That was a weird statement to make, but, trust me. Go with me.
I'm with you. I'm with you for the long haul, guy.
Right? I'm going to extend these out. And that should give us a little bit more of a connector at the bottom.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to do that. Okay. Slight twist. Bring these down.
Plot twist.
Do that. Do that.
All right. So
That. This one goes there. More. Take this edge.
all right. That gives it a little bit more of a like a divot feel, unless because I think I need to bring that in too. Oof, that's painful on your back. I'd hate this. As someone who has back problems, I'd be like, I hate this chair. I hate this chair a lot. It's got this pokey thing that pokes me in the back of my spine.
Captain, I need to upgrade.
Can I have a different chair, Captain?
Oh.
God, this chair sucks.
All right. What else do I need for these heads? Not really.
What other kind of trouble can you cause?
A lot.
Yeah.
How much of that answer do you really want?
That's a loaded answer, isn't it? All right. So
We'll do this one, this one, this one.
Look forward. Now, these guys kind of need to be here.
Doot, doot. Bevel. Whoa.
Okay.
Look at that bevel. Come on.
We've been building chairs all day. For me, anyway.
Second segment. Well, these could be moved in. All right. Yeah, it looks good. Object. Yeah.
There we go. There. Kind of looks cool. And would support your lumbar area. Nice.
Do they have a lumbar, though?
Well, we do.
Oh, yeah. I thought that was the alien chair.
This is everybody's chair. That's the thing. It's got to fit for humans and has to fit for a Shakrana. The other two races, the AIs, are holograms, so it doesn't matter what they sit on. And the other one's like a giant amoeba, so really it won't matter because you'll just ooze into it anyway. Or they will just ooze into the chair like a giant amoeba. Kind of like a sack of jelly. You put them in the chair, they'll just kind of go.
Just take the form.
Right? So I'm not worried about them, really. So those two races aren't a problem. That's what I was doing right before this, was how do I make it fit all of them? Then I have sort of a jellyfish creature. But the jellyfish creature lives, or was, they live on Jupiter-type planets. So they're at a much higher pressure than we are. So they actually cannot exist in our atmosphere. So either they're using hovering mecha effectively, which since they're all about this big, the mecha is like this big. So it's not like major, they're about basketball sized.
Right. Nothing
So
crazy.
they just be a mecha with little like tentacles sticking out of the bottom, at which time they just connect to the headrest of these chairs. The mecha would just snap onto the headrest, and then they could still then work all the controls, with all their little tentacles. So that fits them. You fold the chair down, and then the three-legged guys, which are kind of like three-legged dogs, I guess, about sized like a large dog. So they're about sized like a large dog. They'd be able to then put one leg on the ground, lay on the back of the chair, and then use two legs to touch the control panels. They're ambidextrous, so it doesn't matter which two legs touch the control panels. So it doesn't matter because they've got three fingers that are all opposable at the end of their three legs,
Right.
So
Sure.
So that should work just fine then. Looking at that should be good enough, I think. But I do feel like it's still wide. Like I feel like this part's the chair itself is still wide. So I'm kind of feeling like the seat is a little wide.
Those look a lot better. Okay, much better geometry. Verts.
Yep, verts. This verts my head.
Why does it do that? I don't understand.
Because it verts your head.
Yes.
It's perverted.
I'm
just not going to let this one go. Where's Donald for all the jokes?
He's working, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. He had to. Sometimes Donald has rough days, so
that's fair.
Sometimes it makes sense that he's not always here, but that's okay.
It happens.
Such
is life of the adult world. And we'll
That's
just
back to perverted.
This to this. Yeah, that works. All right. Next one. That vert to that vert. This vert to this one to that one to that one. It triangulates those. Oh, but you create a vert here, so we have to connect you to here.
Then it's averted.
Aha, yes.
Colton's like, why did I agree to this show again?
Why do I come on this show?
Why do I do this? Why do I do this to myself?
One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. All right. Now we'll do this side. That one to that one. That one. Whoa. Nope. To that one, right click. That one, right click. Ooh. Too close. Where did my birds go? There. And that cleans up that corner. That one doesn't need it. That one doesn't need it. Doot.
All right. About 5 minutes.
Cleans up those corners. Then we'll go here.
And this is starting to look pretty cool.
Here to here. Oh. Look at that one. I didn't. Is that happening on this side too? What did I do differently on this side?
I hate that when you're like, what did I do to this? What did I do? What did I
I see what
Oh,
happens.
yeah.
Okay. Dude, see what I did. All right, we're just gonna do this. We're just gonna triangulate that way. Boom. Done. Triangles are better than n-gons.
Yeah, I actually have to usually hit triangulate. Otherwise, I end up with horrible geometry problems. And then, I mean, like when it goes into, it'll go into Daz Studio, and Daz Studio will just flip the normals all over the place, and then I end up in normals everywhere.
Yup.
It's like a horrible disaster movie going wrong.
I'm pretty good at doing the cleanup side of this, so that part doesn't bother me. It's just trying to make sure I actually, because I don't know if Blender has it, but they do have a cleanup tool in here.
Mm-hmm.
Where as soon as you select everything, you hit cleanup, it starts lighting up everything red and blue and all these different colors to let you know what's going wrong with your geometry and all that other stuff. Like if you have multiple faces on this one face, it starts telling you, it's like, you have all these faces here. And you're like, oh, that explains why I'm having why
Geometry
everything's
issue.
messing up in, what do you call it?
That mode.
UVs. There we go.
UVs. Yeah, all your UVs get screwed up.
Yeah, all your reviews are getting messed up. You're like, why are they messing up? They shouldn't be messing up this bad. And then it's like, oh, it's because of this. You're like, oh, thanks.
Yep. Well, there you go.
Which surprisingly enough, I'm surprised my teacher hasn't really explained that one. My old teacher was like all about it. This teacher hasn't said anything about it, which really surprises me. But it's looking like a motorcycle finally. I'm
It's
just
looking like a motorcycle.
It's finally looking like a bike.
Looking like a bike.
Which looks sort of small, but all depends on what this is going to turn.
I feel like these would be called Mickey Mouse chairs. I mean, because they kind of do look like, like they've got mouse ears or something.
You keep the top like that, and the seat should be red.
Right.
It'd be the shorts.
Exactly. The bottom part.
And then you can put 2 yellow dots in like the center, and it's a butt massager. But those would be for the buttons.
That's awesome.
They could literally be Mickey Mouse. Not you say that. I'm never gonna unsee this.
Right, they're the Mickey Mouse chairs. Okay, I feel like we're getting there. I feel like either I am almost done or really close to done here. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah. I keep looking at these pictures going, all right, what's the next thing I need to work on in this engine? All right, we did that. We did that. Now what? This one? Okay. Maybe? No. Because there's a lot of weird stuff going on. And I got to figure it out. But yeah, with everything that happened today and all that stuff, I told my boss, and he was like, nope, you take your time. I'm like, cool. I'm like, I'm just going to sit around and do schoolwork all day then.
Yeah. Sit around and do art.
It's a good way to hyper focus on something else.
Yeah, it's better than hyper focusing on what happened. So
Right. No, it was more like, what the heck is that? Oh, never mind. I know what that is.
What did I do now?
Right. I was more waiting for my mom to show up, but she's not coming today, so I was like, okay.
Right. I do appreciate I'm not intending to bring the show down though.
I know.
Which was fine. It is totally okay. Sometimes you just gotta talk it out,
I kind of did it last night a little bit on my friend's stream, but she started talking about stuff like that, and I was like, "Well, here's what's going on in my day." She's like, "Holy shit!" I'm like, "Yup," because her mom got admitted into the hospital due to COVID,
Oh, that's rough.
and that's what my grandfather's dying from, plus a whole bunch of other stuff.
Oh, your grandpa caught COVID?
He got COVID. He had HPV, heart disease thing.
Right. Which means that COVID's going to be a complication.
Yeah, because it's apparently, I don't know. I'm not sure how true this fact is. I haven't really researched it as much, but someone was trying to tell me that people that are taking meds for, like transplants and things like that, that are supposed to help fight off disease or something like that. Like apparently, if you get the COVID vaccine, it's like counteracting the meds.
Yeah. I mean, but the problem we've got is that COVID attacks circulatory systems,
Right.
which makes it very difficult to tell whether was this a circulatory problem or was this a COVID problem? You know what I mean? Like, it's so hard to tell because.
And I know that's where like a lot of the doctors right now that have been going through everything. That's what they've been saying. They're like, you're testing positive, but we also don't know what else we can do.
Yeah. It's hard. And I've got a couple of buddies who are MDs and they are just like scratching their heads.
Mm-hmm. No, it's like I have a few friends that are nurses. I'm like, so how's everything going? They're like, yeah. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
It's like not as bad as last year, but it definitely, we are getting as stressed. I'm like, well, that's good to know. You know?
Yeah,
it's only like specific hospitals as well. Like I was talking to my step uncle about that yesterday. And he was like, people I talked to, I'm like, you also live in like a population of 100. He's like,
yeah.
Okay, he's like, yeah, okay, you got me. I'm like, come on. He's like, yeah, Denver, I can see being different, and because he's all the way out in pretty much like he's almost to Nebraska from Colorado.
Right. Yeah, it's a thing. It's really rough to.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to tell what's going on.
He's up by like Sterling.
Yeah,
all the way out there.
Brent's back for 1 minute because we're here for 1 minute.
Brent.
Then we're out. We're out. So, but at least I got the basic chair. I think I'm ready for my crash couch here chair. So I think this is not bad at all.
What's a crash couch chair?
So the crash couch would be something like you've got like chairs that are, just your office chair or whatever. But then you have the crash couches. They're bolted to the ship. And if something goes on, you've got seat belts and you're strapped to it.
Got it. Okay.
That kind of thing, as opposed to
that's not the kind of crash couch generic, I was thinking about.
Yeah, just the generic chair that you use for hanging out in a desk or something.
Yeah, the chair I was thinking about when you said crash couch was like a place where you crash, sleep.
Right. No. A crash
couch. Your buddy who's coming over for the weekend is like, cool, you can have the couch.
Yeah. A crash couch is what they call it, the seat in a spacecraft. So it's called a crash couch because it's designed to take the impact of the ship and distribute your weight so that you don't get killed in the impact. Because especially things coming back from orbit, are coming in at a very high speed.
Speaking of that, and since we only have like a minute left, did you see the trailer for The Expanse?
I did. Season 6.
God. Oh yeah, wait, yeah, you posted it. It looks so good.
I'm so there. I am so there. Yeah. Oh God. December is going to be wild. We're getting like the next season of Lost in Space. We're getting Expanse. It's the sudden stop. It's not the
sudden stop. Yeah.
Well, it's true. If you're just falling, you're in orbit.
They need a ring of feather falling.
So, Okay, well, I'm gonna
Save projects often.
save project, and then I'm gonna get going. I gotta go do my walk, and
Have
it's
fun on your walk.
it's 0 degrees Celsius, which makes it 32 degrees Fahrenheit. So
At least it's slightly over freezing.
right,
2 degrees. It doesn't look that bad. I think with the sun out, it should be not that bad.
it'll be fine. I'm not worried. I'm good to about like 20 degrees or something. At 20 degrees, I have to start wearing my heavy jacket.
That's fair. That's fair.
So anyway, tomorrow I am not having a show.
That's fine. I'll be at work.
So just so you guys are all aware, tomorrow there is no show. I've got to go do a shoot tomorrow. So I'm going to go shoot a house.
Isn't that illegal?
Yeah, well, you know. So I'm going to go shoot a house tomorrow, and then we'll be back Friday. So that'll work. So, but until then, I will see you all later. Thanks for joining me, Colton. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. This really
And
helped.
thanks for being here. Everybody who was here, like Brent was here, and Donald was here, and Patsy was here, and Ghost Ham was here. We had a lot of people here today. So it was pretty cool. Thanks for joining me. And I will see you all on Friday. Until then, keep your eyes on the stars. Bye, guys. Computer, good night.